Hey, hi, and welcome to A Taste of Fusion. It is a Lahori special menu that I'm bringing you today. We are starting off with our appetizer of payas. Well, not quite. And for my main course, I'm taking traditional murg chola or chicken with chickpeas and serving it up to you in a unique style. And for dessert, we're taking kheer. Or are we taking kulfi? Or are we taking both? We're making a kheer ice cream. Now, it's time to go pick up my veg, get back to the kitchen and get cooking. Okay, we are ready to get started with our Lahori special appetizer. And what's our appetizer? It's payas, a perfect blend of East meets West. Now for that, I have these glorious little payas over here cut in half, all ready to be cooked. What do I need next? I need some ginger and I need some garlic. So I've got 2 pods of garlic here, which I'm going to hit with my knife, bash a little, and just chop up, like so. And take about 1 teaspoon's worth of ginger. All right, again, slice. Now I'm not going to slice this up finely. I'm going to leave it quite rough, these lovely little cuts over here, because I want them to cook down and I want my broth, which you'll see how I'm going to make it, turn into, you know, lovely sort of little chutney pieces inside, basically, like a condiment. All right, so next thing, I need my pan, get that onto a flame. There we go, high flame. And pour in a lot of olive oil. I would say about 4.5 tablespoons worth of. What I'm basically doing is going to let this cook down and make a brown broth out of it, or the basis of a brown stock. Next step, I'm going to take the ginger and garlic and pop it straight in. And then the payas. Again, rustic cooking, not going to worry about a thing, just pop them straight in. Now, for my spices. A little turmeric, a little red chili. I'm not putting in any salt yet because I want it to cook down before I add in the salt for the broth to release all its flavors. So, half a teaspoon of turmeric, in it goes, and 1.5 teaspoons of red chili flakes. Give it a good stir. And of course, what your aim is here is to thoroughly brown the payas. What this will do is it will release a smoky sort of flavor throughout your stock. All right, now for a little fusion aspect. I'm going to take some balsamic vinegar, pour that in, turn the heat down, pour in a little bit more olive oil, just to keep everything coated well. Then I'm going to pop in the juice of half a lemon, like so. Once the bones have browned, add in water, about 1.5 liters to 6 sort of like little knuckles there. And then bring it to a boil on a high flame. And at this point, we add in a little coriander powder and a little basil, dried basil, which is going to bring in the fusion. There we go. 1 teaspoon of dried basil. In it goes. Give it a good stir. Put the lid on. Right, once your stock is on, you leave it there for about 1.5 hours to cook down slowly. Now it's time to get started with our main course. For our main course, we are making murg chola, or chicken with chickpeas. Very simply and aptly put, a little fusion piece there. Now, with my chicken with chickpeas, what am I going to do? How am I going to change it? I've got some chicken breasts here. Now, getting started. Chicken breast. Again, take your chicken breast and slowly make an incision in it around the bit where the muscle joins. You can see it when you look underneath the chicken breast. Slow incision and cut through, pushing your knife gently without going through to the base. Once this is open, get your knife and using this side, the blunt side, whack down on your meat. Be careful that you don't push too hard and you don't cut through. Now, with the flat bit, even it all out. That's one. Now, do this to another piece as well. Okay, now what am I going to put in my chicken roulade? I'm going to start off with all the spices that we will put into our mul chola salad, for example. A little turmeric, just a pinch, to give it a color, you know, and a little zest on the inside. 2-3 pinches of salt, straight on. So, some red chili flakes, and some coriander seeds. Now I'm not using the powder, I'm using the seeds because I want them to, you know, give you that little bit of crunch coming out from the inside. Then, some extra virgin olive oil. Now I'm not going to do anything fancy, I'm just going to roll these up. Almost like toad in the hole, but not quite. Now on the top of these, I'm just going to create little scores with my knife. Be careful that you don't cut through to the center. Lovely. Now on the top, again, pinch of salt. And a little pinch of turmeric, just to give it that glorious color. Don't overdo the turmeric because then, you know, that will overpower everything else. And just rub it in with your hands. Now, very simply, all I have to do is get my oven dish. Be careful when I pick them up and place them straight there in the center. Then just to add a little zest to it, I've got some cut up tomatoes here. I'm just going to put them around the side so they'll sort of release their water, aid the chicken to cook, and of course give me a little sort of tomato curry to go with it, but not quite. Next, just some sliced up onion, again, with the tomato. And I'm not putting a lot because I will be doing this for my, you know, my chanas, my chickpeas on the side. Now, a dash of olive oil from the top. A little balsamic vinegar because we want a little fusion element to come through. And instead of putting in lemon juice, I'm just going to take a couple of lemons and a raw mango I have here. Put that in the center so its oil can come out. And put a couple of lemons on the side because they can be used as a little lemon achar or lemon, you know, a little sort of lemon chutney on the side. Okay, so now your dish is ready for cooking. It goes into a preheated oven at 180 degrees for about 20 minutes and that's it. You're almost done with your main course. Right, so that's in the oven. Now come back after the break and I'll show you what to do with the chickpeas that are going on the side. Okay, now for our chickpeas on the side, what do we need? Well, I'm going to do everything a little rustic style. I've got a pan over here and into this I'm popping in an entire can of chickpeas. Now, if you use regular chickpeas, make sure you soak them overnight with a little baking soda in water. I'm not doing that, I'm taking the quick fix, the easy way through. So I've got a can of chickpeas straight here into my pan. I've got 4 tomatoes chopped up, straight in they go. I've got a little garlic, which I'm going to give a bash and slice up. Try to keep it as fine as I can. And in it goes straight into our pan. A little olive oil, a couple of good lugs, a little balsamic vinegar, straight in. Now for the spices. Okay, we have 1 teaspoon of red chili flakes. I have 1.5 teaspoons of salt. 1 heaped teaspoon of dried basil, which is the fusion herb today. Right, and that's it. You've got everything in your pan and now it's time to cook it up. Okay, get your pan on a high heat. Let the chickpeas and your entire mixture start sizzling before you add in the secret ingredient. Right, once everything is sizzling and you can start smelling that basil, you know, cooking, and you get this sort of like heavy, wafty aroma, at that point, grab a spoon and pop in 1.5 teaspoons of brown sugar. So, and that is the secret ingredient. Much like a vinaigrette, this will sort of ease out that vinegar in there, the tartness of the tomatoes, and help fuse all the flavors together. As this is cooking, turn the heat down low. Put your lid on because you need the tomatoes to break down completely and, you know, sort of release all their water. And you need that water to dry. So a lid on for about 10 minutes. In the meantime, let's check and see how our chicken is doing. Right, so our chicken is perfectly cooked and it's got this glorious glaze on it and the lovely little crosses are looking beautiful. Now, all I have to do is grab some foil and cover it up so it doesn't become too dry. And simply pop it back into the oven with the heat off. That's it. Just get your chicken back in the oven, make sure the heat's off, and now let's see how our chickpeas are doing. And that's wonderful. All the water's dried up. Give it one last sort of whip around, and that's it. Turn the heat off, and bring your pan to the other side. Okay, now I'm going to let my chickpeas cool slightly, and I want to do a couple of really funky things to them. For example, I'm going to grab some spring onions, two, slice them in half, and then quickly slice them up like so, and just pop them straight into my warm pan. I'm going to take the juice of a quarter lemon, squeeze that in as well. Let's give it a little stir, mix it up. Now for the final blast of color, let's get some coriander. Not too much, grab almost a handful. Give it a lovely little rough chop. Don't need to be too dainty with this. Fantastic. In that goes. Let's give it a little whir. Lid back on and let this rest. That's it. Our main course is done. Now it's time to make dessert. Okay, now for dessert. Well, I said that we are going to create this fantastic fusion of kheer and kulfi and come up with a kheer ice cream. I know that sounds really weird, but trust me, it's going to turn out brilliantly. But remember, you've got to give yourself at least 6 to 8 hours for setting time. So prepare this in the morning if you're going to serve it in the evening or the day before. But it's very, very simple. Okay, to start off with, get your pan on a medium-high heat and pour in half a liter of milk. Into this, you're going to put in about 6 to 8 tablespoons of brown sugar, depending on how sweet you like it. 6 for the minimum, 8 for the more sweet tooth person. And there goes. Right, for your next step, you're going to put in 4 tablespoons of ground rice. Yes, rice, which is the essential in kheer. Now, what I've basically done is I washed a number of tablespoons of rice, washed it and ground it into this lovely powder. So it's almost like rice flour, but not quite. It's got a little bit in it because I want that, slight, density to come through. Now I put in about 4 tablespoons worth. Give it a good stir. Throw in 2 cloves and 1 stick of cardamom. In they go. You must remember to fish them out when you're done. And let this come to a boil. You've got to reduce the milk down, about halfway. So you've got to cook it for at least 15 to 20 minutes. Right, on goes the lid and let it cook. Okay, so our milk is reduced down. Now we just turn off the heat. Put the heavy lid to the side. Give it a good stir. Now you've got to let this cool slightly before you add in the last ingredient. So keep stirring. I have here an egg yolk. Now I'm going to give it a little mix. I'm not going to whisk it up too much. I just want to mess it up. Love these terminologies. All right, now as our milk's cooled, just pour a little bit of the egg in at a time, simply stirring very, very quickly to make sure it doesn't curdle, so therefore it doesn't become lumpy. So that's it, we're done with our kheer ice cream. Now all we need to do is pour this into Tupperware and let it sit in the freezer for 6 to 8 hours. And of course, remember, after every 3 hours, give it a little mix to, break down any crystals that might have formed. That's it. Now it's time to finish up our appetizer. So that's it. Turn the heat off underneath the lovely trotters that we have going. Move this here. Be very careful you don't burn your hands. Now I've got this glorious glutinous broth that's come out. Whilst your broth is warm, add in 3 teaspoons salt and 4 teaspoons white sugar. This will help bring out all the flavors in the spices. Once the sugar and salt are absorbed, put your mixture through a sieve. In a tureen tin, create a version of layers for maximum absorption. To emulate the eating of naan with payas, take the crust off some white bread and layer it at the bottom of the tin to soak up all the glorious flavors in the broth. Next, add a layer of spinach leaves and a layer of shredded hunter beef to give a meaty feel to the dish. Finally, add in a layer of dried plums and a dash of balsamic vinegar. Following this with a pinch of salt and a pinch of red chili. Next, ladle in the broth to cover all the layers so they can soak in all the goodness. Repeat this entire process till the tureen is full till the top. This tureen should now be put into the fridge to cool. Once your guest arrives, simply ladle a nice serving of the cold broth into a soup bowl and serve. That's it. We have done our layering. Now we have to put this in the fridge and let it set. That should take you about 3 to 4 hours. That's it. We are done with our appetizer, our main course and our dessert. All that's left is to plate it up and enjoy it. And we are ready to eat, but before I start, let me introduce my guest. I have been joined by the fabulous and wonderful Rana Sheikh, who I call Khala. Khala, thank you so much.
Thank you for asking me.
And you know, literally gracing the table with your presence. I have come up with a crazy menu for you, which is Lahore city-centric. It is paya a la fusion style.
Oh dear.
There are little fusion herbs in it as well.
It's just yummy.
Really?
It's so delicious.
Oh my goodness, thank you.
I mean, it has the essence of paya.
Yep.
The aroma and the flavor.
Right.
And yet it is so different. Well done, Poppy. I'm not surprised.
Oh, thank you so much. Why, thank you. But because that's a cold appetizer, I'm not going to let your main course get cold.
Okay. God, I don't know, you're probably blessed with special fingers or something. I have to say that the chickpeas are just perfect.
What do you think?
It's just incredible. You should come and live with me.
Sir, I am there.
So we can just enjoy your cooking all the time.
Anytime. I am there for you.
It's just delicious and it's so unusual.
But Khala, now, before I let you eat all of that and before my dessert melts, give me 1 second and I'll be back with dessert. Kheer ice cream.
How did you do that?
Well, you try it, you tell me whether you like it.
It looks like ras malai.
Yes, but it's not.
It's not, I know. It's just amazing. It's really amazing. But I've never had this kheer ice cream anywhere. Did you concoct it?
Absolutely. It is another one of the fusion inventions for you.
Poppy's creation. It's
for my father.
It's delicious. Thank you so much, Poppy.
Thank you so much, Khala. And thank you guys for joining us. We are going to continue with our fabulous meal. I'll catch you again next week. From Khala and myself, take care. And remember, if you want to see me fuse something or you have any comments, write in on afusion@news.tv. And from us today, Khuda Hafiz.
Thank you. It's delicious, Poppy. I have to say, this is just outstanding. कसम से बहुत मजे की है.